Pasa al penal, ella no tiene derecho a visitas. El trato es totalmente diferente, ya no tiene aquellos privilegios que antes, ¿verdad? Gozaban de llevarles prostitutas y todo. El trato...
In El Salvador, a nation once plagued by gang violence, the government has taken drastic measures to curb the power of notorious gangs like MS-13 and Barrio 18. Once, these gangs held sway over entire neighborhoods, extorting businesses and terrorizing communities.
Mara Salvatrucha o MS-13 es una de las pandillas callejeras más famosas y temibles del continente americano. Se fundó en los barrios marginales de Los Ángeles, Estados Unidos.
Gang leaders enjoyed a life of luxury within prisons.
A los miembros de las maras, quienes se desplazaban en las cárceles como si estuvieran en libertad.
Veían bailes, mujeres chulonas, incluso hasta en el órgano judicial, haciendo celebraciones.
With access to drugs, alcohol, and even prostitutes.
La grabación es durante una visita íntima y deja en evidencia algunos de los beneficios que en su momento tenían los cabecillas de las pandillas.
They could freely communicate with the outside world and continue to orchestrate criminal activities.
De hecho, su poder aumentó desde las cárceles, donde pudieron reorganizarse con relativa tranquilidad, ya que normalmente tenían penales exclusivos para cada pandilla.
However, the government's crackdown has changed everything. Mass arrests, strict prison conditions, and limited communication have significantly weakened these gangs. The once powerful leaders are now confined to overcrowded cells, stripped of their influence.
A la lista se suman otros objetos ilícitos como DVDs también con sus registros, marihuana y dinero en efectivo.
While this aggressive approach has led to a decline in crime rates, it has also raised concerns about human rights abuses and potential long-term social consequences. The future of El Salvador remains uncertain, but the government's war on gangs has undoubtedly reshaped the nation.
Lo vamos a volver a citar como Consejo de Ministros si no aprueban el Plan Control Territorial. Y si no, yo no me voy a poner entre el pueblo y el artículo 87.
Before President Bukele's administration, Salvadoran prisons were a far cry from places of punishment. Gang leaders enjoyed a life of luxury, with access to drugs, alcohol, and even prostitutes.
A la lista se suman otros objetos ilícitos como DVDs también con sus registros, marihuana y dinero en efectivo.
La grabación es durante una visita íntima y deja en evidencia algunos de los beneficios que en su momento tenían los cabecillas de las pandillas.
They could freely communicate with the outside world, orchestrating criminal activities from behind bars. These prisons were more like resorts than correctional facilities. The situation worsened under previous governments, which allowed gangs to maintain significant power and influence. Gangs like MS-13 and Barrio 18 operated with impunity, terrorizing communities and controlling vast territories.
A los miembros de las maras, quienes se desplazaban en las cárceles como si estuvieran en libertad.
Veían bailes, mujeres chulonas, incluso hasta en el órgano judicial, haciendo celebraciones.
However, President Bukele's government has taken a hardline stance against gangs.
Si no limpiamos nuestro país de ese cáncer, ahora ¿cuándo lo vamos a hacer? Vamos y lo sacamos de donde estén. Proteste quien proteste.
Thousands of gang members have been arrested and incarcerated in overcrowded prisons, including the notorious MegaPrison. These prisons are designed to break the power of the gangs and prevent them from continuing their criminal activities. While this aggressive approach has led to a significant decline in crime rates, it has also raised concerns about human rights abuses and the potential for long-term social problems. The future of El Salvador remains uncertain.
A ver cuánto tiempo duran sus homeboys allá adentro. Les juro por Dios que no comen un arroz. Y vamos a ver cuánto tiempo duran.
But the government's war on gangs has undoubtedly reshaped the nation. The Salvadoran government tacitly allowed rival gangs, MS-13 and Barrio 18, to battle each other, believing it would reduce overall violence. However, this truce only strengthened the gangs and led to increased territorial disputes and bloodshed. In 2022, President Nayib Bukele took decisive action, declaring war on the gangs.
So far, the authorities say they have transferred 4,000 prisoners to the jail and that there is capacity for up to 40,000.
Thousands of gang members were arrested and incarcerated in the newly built MegaPrison. This massive facility, with its harsh conditions and strict security measures, is designed to dismantle the gang's power structures. While the government's crackdown has led to a significant decrease in crime rates, It has also raised concerns about human rights abuses and due process. Critics argue that the harsh conditions in prisons and the mass arrests may violate international human rights standards.
Nosotros acá albergamos internos de alto grado de peligrosidad, sujetos que antes delinquían desde el interior de las prisiones.
The future of El Salvador remains uncertain, but the government's aggressive approach to gang violence has undoubtedly reshaped the nation. The MegaPrison is a stark symbol of El Salvador's war on gangs. This high-security facility is designed to house thousands of gang members, stripping them of their power and influence. Inside, conditions are harsh. Inmates are confined to overcrowded cells.
Estamos en medio de extorsionadores, violadores, secuestradores y asesinos.
Sleeping on metal bunk beds with no mattresses or pillows. They are subjected to strict surveillance, with guards monitoring their every move.
Sin haber puesto un pie afuera del módulo, esta persona ya es acusada de un delito diferente.
The prison's design is intended to break the spirit of the inmates, with limited access to sunlight, fresh air, and human interaction. The prison's security measures are equally stringent. High walls, barbed wire, and armed guards surround the facility, ensuring that no inmate can escape. Inside,
que se colocan a los prisioneros cada que tienen que salir de sus celdas, ya sea para alimentarse, para hacer ejercicio, para recibir atención médica.
Surveillance cameras monitor every corner, and guards patrol the corridors. Inmates are subjected to frequent cell searches and strict rules. The goal of the MegaPrison is to dismantle the gang's power structure and prevent them from continuing their criminal activities. By isolating gang members and depriving them of their freedom, the government aims to break their spirit and ultimately eradicate gang violence in El Salvador. The most notorious gang leaders, responsible for countless deaths and suffering,
Yo tengo aproximadamente 35 años de ser pandillero. Fui uno de los primeros pandilleros que vino a El Salvador. Fui uno de los primeros.
Are now facing the consequences of their actions. Imprisoned in harsh conditions, they are stripped of their power and influence. The Salvadoran government's crackdown on gangs has led to a significant decline in crime rates. However, it has also raised concerns about human rights abuses and due process. As the government continues its aggressive approach, the future of El Salvador remains uncertain. The trials of these gang leaders have sent a strong message. Impunity will no longer be tolerated.
En el día de hoy, inició un juicio masivo para procesar a casi 500 presuntos líderes de la pandilla Mara Salvatrucha.
With harsh sentences and strict prison conditions, the government aims to dismantle the gangs and restore peace to the nation. Inmates within these prisons face extremely harsh conditions. They're confined to overcrowded cells, denied basic amenities, and subjected to strict surveillance. Some gang leaders, with criminal records spanning decades, face sentences of hundreds of years. While these harsh measures may seem extreme, they are a direct response to the decades of violence and suffering inflicted upon the Salvadoran people by these gangs. Public opinion in El Salvador is largely supportive of the government's actions. Many citizens believe that these measures are necessary to restore peace and security to their communities.
Cruel venganza del gobierno de El Salvador contra las pandillas callejeras. Ha enviado a los reclusos a los cementerios para destruir las tumbas de los miembros de las pandillas.
President Bukele's popularity has soared as a result of his tough stance on crime.
A ver cuánto tiempo duran sus homeboys allá adentro. Les juro por Dios que no comen un arroz. Y vamos a ver cuánto tiempo duran.
However, concerns have been raised about potential human rights abuses and the long-term impact of mass incarceration. International organizations have criticized the conditions within the prisons, raising questions about the ethics of such harsh treatment. As El Salvador continues to grapple with the challenges of gang violence, the government's approach remains controversial. While it has undoubtedly led to a significant reduction in crime, it is essential to strike a balance between security and human rights.